would like you to tell us where you're joining from. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us at this edition of Emigrate Open Day. You will learn a lot around visa-sponsored jobs across the UK, US, Canada, France, Australia, Germany, and many other countries of the world. We will be speaking around why some of these countries are opening up for talent and why we have different speakers in the room. We have our coaches in the room already, Odun, Karen, Cecil, who will be sharing from their experience around these different opportunities. It's a 1 hour, 30 minutes minimum session. And so please stay geared, stay glued, because it is absolutely, absolutely valuable. All of the coaches in the room, all of the speakers in the room, they've packed a lot of information that you likely wouldn't find a lot of it online, or you would have to dig deep to find some of these from their experience, from information available to them to help your own journey. And also on the Emigrate platform, we focus on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement, where the platform focused on talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. In this edition of Emigrate Open Day, we'll be looking at what is called skilled worker visa in the UK, visa-sponsored jobs specifically, how to find employers that would be willing to sponsor your visa. We'll be talking about what are the different pathways, what are the different routes that are available in these different countries of the world. If you're looking to move to those countries, if you're looking to move as an expatriate, as a talent, as somebody skilled, as somebody that is bringing value to their economies. Please stay glued. At some point during this session, I'll be asking you, after our three speakers have gone, I'll be asking you what is the common denominator between all of the things that the different speakers have shared during the session. So please stay glued to that point. And also, if you stay till the end of this session, or if you watch this replay video to the end, for those watching the replay video, we have a gift for you. We will be sharing what that gift is later on in the session. And so we're hoping that you will find this so valuable that you will share with your network, with your friends, with your community. If you're joining us live, you can share this immediately to say we are starting. And our focus today on the Emigrate platform on today's open day is landing a visa-sponsored job in tech. And we'll be looking at the UK, US, Canada, France, Australia, Germany. We have speakers and coaches in the room focusing on the UK, Karen. We have Odun's focusing on Canada. We have Cecile focusing on France, and we will be using that as a microcosm, if you may, of what this looks like across the world. There are strategies that have common denominator, and I'm going to ask you that question at some point to say what is the common denominator across these different pathways. Could you let me know if you can see my screen? Let me know if you can hear me clearly. And as mentioned earlier, introduce yourself. Let us know where you're joining from. You never know. You may be meeting your co-founder, your next employee, your next employer, your next partner in this session, because this is a networking session brought to you by the Emigrate platform. And Emigrate is the talent platform focused on talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. In terms of the session today, we will start by just sharing a little bit about what Emigrate is and what Emigrate is not. Then we will drill down into the crust of the session. Our speakers and coaches have prepared a lot of information for us. We will hear from all the speakers, and then we will drill into the question and answer section. The question and answer is also where you'll be able to get as much information as possible. And we ask that you do share and ask your questions. You will not be able to unmute yourself, but you can send your questions in the chat. And if you're watching the replay video, you can also send your question if you're watching the replay video, you can also send your question in the comments, and the community administrator on whatever platform you're watching these on will be able to get your answer from the different coaches to you within the shortest possible time. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And so in terms of Emigrate open, in terms of the Emigrate platform, just give us one moment. We'll be right back. One moment. In terms of the Emigrate platform, we have different open day sessions that we've done in the past across the UK, the US, Canada, France, Australia, looking at different visa options, the UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 visa, US EB1 visa, EB2 NIW, Australian National Innovation Visa, and quite a number of different visa pathways that we've looked at on the Emigrate platform. If you download the app, there's a lot there for you because a number of coaches have shared a lot of information, and the platform gives you everything that you need across your entire journey. Even if you're an absolute beginner, you are not yet qualified for some of these talent-based visa options, to the point when you are qualified and you're on a qualification roadmap, to the point when you are qualified and you're on the endorsement roadmap, to the point when you've gotten endorsed for some of these visas, and then you're looking at relocating, to a relocation roadmap, to once you've been relocated, looking at integration in this new economy, and also settling in the settlement roadmap as well, all covered on this one platform. One of the packages on the platform is the Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent, and this is one of the packages that is currently ongoing, and it's a package that you may be interested in. It's a package that is available to you as an absolute beginner, but it's also a package available to you as an expert in the room. You can also use this pathway if you're looking to move as a spouse, or as move with your spouse or move with your dependent. You will need time and equity contribution to be able to use this pathway. If this is of interest to you, you can look at and you can send a message on WhatsApp or request for this package on the Emigrate app. So very quickly, what is Emigrate? For us, our focus on the Emigrate platform is to help you become globally attractive. And I know that a number of us on the call, you come on this call today because you're interested in one visa opportunity or the other. And yes, we will be talking about visa opportunities, but we talk about this visa opportunity from a perspective of you being globally attractive. Because if you are globally attractive, you have options. You have options of working in your own economy and contributing globally, working in your own economy from a global mindset and contributing within your own economy. But should you decide to do so for whatever reason, you have the option to move to different parts of the world because the world is borderless for talents. You have the opportunity of also, even if you've moved to a third country, you can move from one country to another country and so on because you're a talent. And the reason why this is so is because many forward-thinking countries of the world have made different pathways, visa pathways available for people who they consider as talents. They've made these different pathways available for you to be able to use to move to their economy. They are not doing you a favor. They are doing this and making these pathways available because they know you will be a net contributor to their economy. They understand that you pay high taxes for some jurisdiction. You will bring your innovation, you will bring your idea, you will bring a lot to the table. And so they've calculated it to say, yes, allow them to move with their dependents, allow them to move with their spouse, and so on, because net, their economy is better off. You create jobs, you create employment, you bring innovation, you bring intellectual property, you bring your talent to their jurisdiction. And that's the reason why many of these pathways are available. Today's session, we will focus on employer-sponsored visas, where you typically need to land a job with an employer, and your employer will navigate the visa processing for you or with you. Those are the kinds of visas we will focus on across multiple countries of the world during today's session of Emigrate Open Day. But generally speaking, when we talk about being globally attractive, it could be you yourself as your tech profile, or it could be your tech-enabled business. This is what we focus on the Emigrate platform. And so practically our services cover things like information, general inquiry, coaching, handholding, and things like that. Preliminary assessment, am I already qualified? Oh, what do I need to do to qualify? Now that I'm qualified, what do I need to do next? Now that I've gotten endorsed, I've gotten my certificate of sponsorship and so on, how do I navigate moving into this new economy, integrating into this new economy, settling in this new economy, becoming a permanent resident in this new economy, moving to a third country? All of these managed on an holistic platform. And it gets better because over 80% of what Emigrate does, we do for free. You heard me right. Over 80% of what we do for free. And the reason is because we run a freemium model. And so, yes, we do have premium offerings on the platform, but we do our free offerings and also premium offering. On the free offering, you will want to start with the Emigrate Tech Visa app, because most of our free options are available via the app nowadays. And so information, inspiration, the likes of the open day that you are on at the moment, introductory video, open coaching, pre-evaluation, helpful templates, a lot of these available to you in one single platform, the Emigrate Tech Visa app. In addition to that, you get access to clarity sessions on the platform, and you get access to one clarity session free of charge. Now, what we advise you do is that before you book a clarity session with a coach on the platform, we ask that you have spent some time on some of the other offerings that are available. So you are not going to that session asking things like, oh, what is the skilled worker visa, or what pathway is it, and all of that. You should have gone through some of these in a lot of the free options that are available. We want you to make the best use of the time and the best use of the time of the coach. But yes, if you need a little bit more, we do have premium options on the platform, including our Emigrate Circle subscription services and so on. On the premium side, there are 3 key ways in which we are able to support you. We have the do it yourself with a subscription. We have a do it with me. We have a do it for me on the platform. And these are some of the packages available on the platform, on the Emigrate platform. And also in terms of what the different options entail. With the free offering, you get access to short coaching session limited. You get access to the basic AI assistant. You get access to all of these even for free. And then on the do-it-yourself with a subscription, you get access to personalized coaching session, one-to-one with human expert coaches. And also you get access to helpful AI assistants and AI agents that can help your journey. With the Do It With Me packages, you get access to all of these, and you have hand-holding and ongoing support. And then with the Do It For Me, you are able to, everything that you can do, you still have to do, but everything else like logistics, project management, technical writing, business analysis, and so on for the different visa routes on the platform, all of these managed for you on one platform. This is what Emigrate Tech Visa presents to you today. And for you to get started, where you want to go is the Emigrate Tech Visa platform. You can download the app on the App Store, the Google Play Store, and it's also available on the web. If you are listening to the audio replay, the URL is emigrateVisa.com/techvisa. Emigrate is spelled EMIGR8, number 8, visa.com. And that's where you would find all of these that I've mentioned. There's a lowest common denominator for all of these routes. And the lowest common denominator is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. And this is what we are exploring on the Emigrate platform. I need to mention clearly, Emigrate on the platform directly, we do not offer legal advice or immigration advice, not on this session or on most of what we do on the Emigrate platform. We provide information, insight, guidance, coaching, handholding, and so on. but we do not offer legal advice or immigration advice. We do partner with immigration consultants. We partner with lawyers and solicitors and so on. And so if your case requires it, we can refer you out of the platform to some of our partners. But directly on the platform, that is not our value proposition. Our value proposition is enabling you and working with you from where you are to where you want to be in your journey to becoming globally attractive. Our coaches are already on the call, and our coaches are going to be sharing with you from the wealth of their experience. We're going to go to Canada first, speaking with Odun, and Odun is going to be sharing from our perspective around this topic of landing visa jobs and also looking at the different visa routes available in Canada. And then we're going to go to the UK, where we'll be speaking with Karen. Karen is going to be speaking about the UK and looking at the UK skilled worker visa, some ways in which you can optimize and so on. And then we'll be going to France, and Cecile will be sharing from our perspective from France as well on that topic. And once we've done that, I'm going to be asking you a question once all three speakers have gone through. And the question is, what is the lowest common denominator? What is similar in all of these routes? Because different countries, different policy, but there are some similarities, and those similarities are some of the things we will be exploring. Thank you once again for joining us. Don't forget, if you have questions, what you would need to do is drop them in the chat, because you will likely forget your question because there's a lot of information that is coming at you at once, right? Once you think of your question, drop it in the chat. The speakers and coaches will not get distracted. They've promised me that they won't be looking at the chat or the questions until question and answer. And so drop them in the chat so that way we would combine questions where necessary. We will make sure we attend to as many questions as possible. And even if we are not able to within the limited time available to us today, we will make sure that your questions are answered also in the community. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from during this edition of Emigrate Open Day. And thank you for those joining us. Don't forget, we mentioned that we do have a gift for you if you wait till the end of this session. And with that all being said, I would like to invite Odun onto the podium, virtual podium that is, for her to share for just a bit, and then we will go to our next coach afterwards. Odun, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, buddy. Before I start talking, it would be nice to get some applause from the group, from the room, assuming that we're in an in-person event. There was going to be an applause, so I still gotta get my applause, guys. Come on, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's the spirit. Good afternoon, everyone. From my side of the world, I'm in Canada, Ontario specifically, and it is 2:20 p.m. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, buddy, for staying on time. You did say 20 minutes, and it is exactly 20 minutes. So thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for joining as well. My name is Odunola Bola Adesope. I am an RCIC. RCIC means a Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant. I am also the founder of J29 Immigration Canada. I am the founder of J29 Edu Consulting, as well as J29 Experiences, and the list will go on. What I do really is supporting individuals, families who are looking to immigrate to Canada, who want to live the Canadian dream, whatever that looks like for everybody. I am here to support you to make that a reality. It's what I do, is what I enjoy doing, and I've been doing this for some time now, over 5 years. Now, today I'm going to be talking about options for tech professionals. Everyone is talking tech, but like literally everywhere on LinkedIn, everyone is talking tech, 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 tech. More recently, it's AI. Even my 5-year-old daughter says AI, like, oh, mama, don't believe AI. So it's the thing, and we will be living in a delusional space if we don't embrace it. That's the reality of the world that we're living in today. And that is what I will be sharing with us. So I will be sharing with us what are the options. Is it even possible to get a visa sponsorship in Canada as it is in the US and in the UK, is it possible and things like that. So those are things that I will be talking to us about today. And I will also hopefully be able to answer all of your questions. hopefully, because I believe there will be a lot of questions, but we'll try to cover as much as we can. So, without further ado, the first thing I would like to talk about is really the question that I asked last, which is it possible to get a visa sponsorship in Canada as is in the UK and in the US? And the straight answer to that is no. It doesn't work the same way as it does in the UK or in the US. It works differently. So it is possible for you to get the support of an employer, but it's not as though there's a separate program where they will be sponsoring your visa to come to Canada, right? So I want to clear that so that, again, because there's a lot of people saying all kinds of things on the internet and people are falling victim of fraudulent activities. So let's be clear on that, that no employer would actually sponsor your visa. But what they will do is support you to be able to apply for your visa slash work permit, as the case may be. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm sorry if that hurts anyone's feelings, but that's just the reality of what the landscape is as of today. Now, can that change? Absolutely, it can, because immigration in Canada, in the UK, and in every part of the world is fickle. It changes in the blink of an eye. And I'm sure everyone here, even Buddy, Karen, can attest to the fact that immigration is a space that changes very rapidly or rapidly. So that can change. But as of today, it is what it is. So what then is possible if I'm saying that, an employer cannot sponsor you? There is something called an LMIA. How many people in the room? And I believe that you can all raise your hands if that's possible because you already gave me an applause, so I know it's possible. But yes, I would like for us to, if you've heard of the word LMIA before, can you just by show of hands or just a reaction, raise your hand? I just want to know how much people know if anyone has heard about it before. Okay, I guess no. Okay, only but you're not allowed to participate. Anyway, so yes, an LMIA simply means a labor market impact assessment. And I will put it as simply as possible. I'm an employer in Canada. I want to employ somebody who is not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. So I need to get permission from the government of Canada because they don't want me going to embarrass them in the global space, just employing people and not paying them properly. So I need to get authorization from the government. And the process of getting that authorization is called an LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment, where they will review my business as a whole. Am I qualified to employ someone? What's the job about? Is it a priority occupation and things like that? And have I really conducted a thorough recruitment process? And am I able to say categorically that there are no Canadians or permanent residents that can do this job? And of course, I now want to extend it to people that are outside of Canada. So that's really what an LMIA is. And an LMIA is the job of the business owner slash the employer. You have no business as an applicant dealing with the LMIA. So you never have to pay for an LMIA. The business owner or the employer is the one who pays the government for that process. And when the process falls through, it's called getting a positive LMIA. That's when they can now employ people who are foreign nationals, like, someone who is outside of Canada and stuff like that. Now, with this LMIA, there is one of the programs under this temporary foreign worker program that is dedicated to tech professionals. And that's what we call the global talent stream. That's not an I want to believe that's not an unfamiliar name with a lot of people because I think the UK also has something called the Global Talent Stream. However, in Canada, it works differently. As you probably already know, Canada just does things the way they want. It's different. You see what I mean? But the way that that one is designed is such that employers will still go through the authorization process, right? Once they get that authorization, as is with every other LMIA process, they will then need to give you that authorization, which you will use to apply for your work permit. So it's not as though the employer is the one applying for your visa on your behalf. But you see, that LMIA is an important part of your application, without which your application will not even be reviewed. Because really, how is someone employing you? How do you have a job offer if that employer didn't get the authorization to do that? So the LMIA is an important part of your work permit application, which you will be doing by yourself. It is not the job of your employer to do that for you. But that important components they will give to you. Now, under this global talent stream, there are a list of specific occupations that have been set aside under tech occupations. So some it's quite a long list, but I have things like computer and information system managers. I have software engineers, cybersecurity professionals, business system analysts. There's a bunch of tech occupations there. And what that program promises is that when you submit your work permit application, it will be processed in 2 weeks. That is what the program promises, and that's what makes it, unique. So yes, it's the employer still need to go through an authorization process and get an LMIA. But what happens is after you get the LMIA, as long as you are in one of these occupations and the employer has explicitly stated and met all of the requirements for providing or for offering you that job, which includes the wages and everything that needs to be met, it definitely is not a low wage job. Do you see what I mean? You can't obviously be a software engineer and be earning $18 an hour. Do you get? So it's definitely a high wage role. So as long as the employer has done their due diligence, then they can now support you with the LMI, which you will use to apply. And once you indicate that it's a global talent stream work permit option, then of course it will be processed within 2 weeks. Now, the reality is that there may be occasions where it may extend beyond the 2 weeks. That's normal. That's completely not out of it's not out of this world for that kind of thing to happen. But essentially, that's what the IRCC promises. And IRCC means Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. So that's what the Global Talent Stream is about. Now, I know the biggest question then is, so where do we find these jobs? Or where are they? Like, yeah, you're saying, I mean, how do we find someone to give us this job? Again, it's tough, to be honest, but it's possible. You see, there was something that Buddy said at the beginning of the session. He said, we're in a networking room, and please share your LinkedIn profiles. Interestingly, I haven't seen a lot of people share that. But you see that tool called LinkedIn, it can do so much more than we can possibly imagine. There's so much more that can be done on LinkedIn. The truth is, there's no one website where they post job opportunities for the Global Talent Stream program, because employers who go through the authorization for to employ people under this stream, they need to have actually posted those jobs in multiple websites. So there's no one place where they have, the only one place or single point of information that belongs to the government of Canada is the Canada Job Bank. But that's not all. The employers need to post these jobs in other websites as well. So if that's the case, then it's not like there's one space where you find this job. But the truth is that there's lots of job websites that you can check. But LinkedIn is an absolute great place to start, because I mean, if you identify these occupations, that can be your starting point. I don't know how well you know about Boolean searches or keyword searching, but it's important that you're able to search properly on LinkedIn for jobs like this. And then when you find a job that looks interesting to you in a Canadian organization, don't just put in your resume and forget it. Go onto LinkedIn, look for people who work in that place, reach out to them. There's no harm in trying and reaching out to people. You have great talent, you have great skills already that they're looking for, right? It's just you being able to meet the requirement. So I say shoot your shots. I like to say that, but it's a real. A lot of people say it these days, but some people are saying it jokingly, but the truth is there's no harm in trying. So I say LinkedIn is a good place to get started. And places like this as well, networking events. There's lots of online networking events that you can attend. Even if you go on Eventbrite and look for events happening in Canada, online events, you can just attend for what it's worth. You just never know where you meet people that may support you. And then every once in a while, okay, maybe later on I will share this link with Buddy as well. You can just share it on the community. But there's some organizations in Canada as well that occasionally post online networking events for like maybe tech professionals. One of them is Invest Ottawa. You can just check if there's an event coming up and you can just attend. Some of these events are free. Attend online, just the same way you're here, right? But you never know who you will meet and who will be in need of or what organization will be in need of the skills that you have. So those are places that you can check. And honestly, cold calling is not even a bad idea at all. Like, just call. If you find a job that interests you and if you find a phone number there, call. Things like optimizing your resume is key, but there are also ways that you can, get like a Canadian phone number so that employers can reach you. These are tips and tricks that you can use just to be able to make yourself findable, or for you to be able to connect with employers that may find your skills attractive, right? But the truth is, there's no one single point of information where you will find strictly global talent stream job opportunities. However, if your occupation falls under these ones, then of course you can start to look for jobs on LinkedIn and some of these places that I've mentioned. Indeed is also a good place. Indeed is popular, I know, but you can also definitely check on Indeed for job opportunities like this. So again, I know in the interest of time, I'm going to move very quickly. The other options will be things like intercompany transferee, where you can, if you're working in a multinational that has like a branch in Canada, then it's possible for you to be transferred here. But again, it's neither here nor there. It's dependent on whether or not your employer is willing to make that move or help you make that move to move from one of their offices to the one in Canada. Now, the second thing I would like to talk about is the Express Entry, which I believe everyone here is familiar with. If you haven't heard of Express Entry in this room before, please raise up your hand because now I know that we may need to go a little deeper into some of these explanations. But if you haven't heard of Express Entry, raise up your hand. You have 1 second to do that. Okay, this thumbs up means no. All right. So Express Entry is a points-based system that is used to process Canadian immigration applications. Very simple. Now, within that system, there are three different programs. One of them is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. The second one is the Canadian Experience Class. And then the third one is the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Now, there's no use talking about the Federal Skilled Trades or talking about the Canadian Experience Class because you need to be in the trades profession and or with Canadian work experience, which is up to a year for you to qualify for that program, do any of those programs. So in this room, I don't believe that anyone falls into that category. So the one that we will talk a bit more about is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You do need to meet a certain list of requirements, things like your age, your work experience, your education, those are things that you need to, and your language abilities as well. They need to definitely meet the requirements for that program. But I want to focus a bit more on the tech aspect of this because that's the goal of today's conversation. Now, there is still one tech occupation that remains on the priority list on the federal skilled worker program. The way the federal skilled worker program is designed, like I said, is points based. So every aspect of your profile will be awarded points, and the higher your score, the better your chances. However, in recent times, they have been extending invitations to apply for permanent residence to people who are in certain priority occupations. Now, within the tech space, one priority occupation that still that has been recurrent is cybersecurity specialists or cybersecurity professionals. Why is that? Obviously, we all know that AI is taking over the world. And the more that we spend our time on the internet and explore the possibilities of artificial intelligence, we would also then be exposing ourselves to a lot of cyber threats, cyber attacks. What can possibly happen to us is endless. So that is one very big reason why cybersecurity would always be an occupation that is in demand in Canada. So that being said, if you're a cybersecurity professional, then one thing that you want to do is to start considering, preparing yourself for, again, if Canada is your dream, then you want to start preparing like things like taking your English language test, things like getting your credentials evaluated so that you can create a profile and wait. It's really an expression of interest, but you just never know. Because what if your profile becomes so attractive and they invite you to apply for permanent residence? Remember, you are trying to be globally attractive. Canada may be your starting point, but you know that once you're able to get permanent residence in Canada and you move on to citizenship, that can then help you easily move to other countries that you want to go to. Because I mean, you have a blue passport, it carries a lot of weight. So even if you're applying for work permits in a different country, it will be way easier for you. And that makes you who it is that you want to be. That person that is globally attractive and can move around easily. So those are things that this Canada can obviously be your starting point, but yeah, that's the extent of what can possibly happen. I am now running out of time, so I will move away quickly from Express Entry. But yes, Express Entry is an option, and if you're a cybersecurity professional, that is an option that you want to double click on very quickly. There are lots of provincial nomination options as well. Again, it's highly dependent on your ability to qualify for Express Entry, but just write it down. Provincial nomination is an option for you. I am definitely going to speed things up from now on. But yes, provincial nomination options are there for you to explore, especially in Ontario. Sometimes they do tech targeted invitations to people to apply to for their provincial nomination programs. And it's just a province nominates you, like, oh, we're interested in your profile. We see that you're a great candidate. And once you're able to get past the provincial nomination stage and the province now actually nominates you, then you can go ahead and apply for permanent residence in Canada as well. But if you are a tech talent, if you do have great tech skills, a good starting point is still the Express Entry system where you create a profile for yourself. Now, I'll talk a bit about the entrepreneurs. Do we have any startups, startup owners, fintech founders, and things like that in the house as well? Anyone who is in
We
that.
definitely have, and we would have others watching later anyway.
Excellent. So if we have people in that category as well, there are also options for them. There's the very popular startup visa, which is really for innovators, people who have great innovative ideas and want to start up their business in Canada. You can either be alone or be in a group of about 4 or 5 people. And the idea, like I said, is really have like a business idea that is sustainable in Canada. But beyond that is thank you, buddy. Okay. Beyond that is also the fact that, once you're able to get your business idea, one major hurdle that you need to cross is you need to get a designated organization in Canada to invest in that idea of yours. So your idea, if I would say so, has to be groundbreaking. And I mean it literally. It really does have to be an innovative idea for you to get someone to want, or an organization or a venture capital to want to invest as much as 200K, $250,000 in your business. So you really need to come correct, if you understand what I mean. Your idea has to be really great. But now, in very actually as recent as a week ago, we see that the processing time for startup visa is 10 years. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's just funny. Like, are you going to really wait for 10 years? So, again, I know that that will change soon, but that's a consideration. However, it is definitely a great option for tech founders because I know that there's no limit to what tech can do for us these days. Like, I look forward to a time where I don't have to do any chores and I will get a robot to do everything for me. That's the kind of life I want. You see, so if you have such ideas, bring it on to Canada. I'm pretty sure it will be embraced, but that is an option for you. The other option is on the provincial level. There are also entrepreneur programs in different provinces. However, across all of these provinces, one common denominator is that you do need to have a net worth that is between 300K and the sky is the limit. But just, if your net worth is from that 300K and above, then you will at least stand a chance for entrepreneur streams for provincial nomination entrepreneur streams in different provinces. But it simply is you that's a starting point. Once you're able to then get that provincial nomination, you can now apply for permanent residence. However, you do need to be starting a business or owning part of a business. Every province has different specific requirements. I won't go into the nitty gritty of each provincial requirement, but I just gave you like a ballpark figure where we need to be looking at a net worth of around 300K and above. See, but it's definitely doable if you're in that space, if you're a tech founder, if you have raised, sometimes you've raised a lot of funds, you have a lot of money, you're ready, that you're able to invest in the business, then by all means, these are business ideas that you can bring to Canada and will be embraced. There's a lot more in that. Oh my God. I can't even, if I get the next 4 hours, there's so much more to unpack, trust me. But it's a starting, just know. Think about this like an information session, just for you to know what is possible. And you can start to research along those lines and know for a fact that whatever you do, your single source of information should be the Government of Canada's website. It's a good place to start if you're in doubt, right? It's like, okay, where's the source of this information? If that is not the source, then you want to double check again, right? Even when you see things on immigrants, rest assured that it is from the source of information, which is the Government of Canada website. So I mean, it's what it is. I trust Body enough to know that they're not going to give you any information that is not from the right source. However, that is always your reference point at every point. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Body now because Body, if you leave me, I will continue. So just keep that. But thank you all very much. I hope this has been helpful. There's so much more that I can share, but I'll keep it at this for now, and I will be happy to take questions as we go along. Thanks again, buddy, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Odu.
you, Karen. You know that I like the applaud. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Odu, and you've really given us a quick whistle tour to some of the options available in Canada, and I'm sure that there will be quite a number of questions coming to you, both during this open day, and I'm sure also subsequently as well. And so let's go to the UK now. And as we said earlier, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. You will likely forget if you don't drop them in the chat or at least note them down. And we know that there will be lots and lots and lots of questions because we are looking at multiple countries during today's edition of Emigrate Open Day, unlike some of our previous editions. And you can find a lot of video recording. Although mentioned around the startup visa, you will find sessions and open day replay video on some of these different visa options on the Emigrate platform that will be useful to you. And on the Emigrate platform, we would always point you to the government resources, to the guides, to the resources that you need, and also to coaches who are able to help you unpack some of these as necessary. But yeah, let's go to the UK now. Karen is going to be sharing from the perspective of the UK on the same topic around employer-sponsored visas. How could you go about it? And Karen, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just before I get started, it would be super useful for me to know where people are currently based and also what kinds of opportunities they're looking for, just so I can kind of, as I go about things, I can tailor the messaging a little bit. So drop that in the chat if you can, please, and I'm going to start sharing my screen now. In the UK already, great. Nice. Okay, cool. I presume you can see my like okay, fair few from UK.
Yeah, see your screen.
Okay, amazing. I come from a slightly different background, I presume, to the other speakers here, in that I'm not a legal professional. I'm not kind of in the immigration consulting advisory space necessarily. So the things that I'm going to be sharing are going to be based on my personal journey and my personal experiences with navigating the sponsorship system here, and then also kind of explain a little bit about what my company does, why we do it, and the insights I've gained from that would be beneficial for the audience members here. So I am Indian by ethnicity, but I was born and raised in the UAE. I moved from Dubai to UK in 2015. I came here for my bachelor's. During university, undertook work, but it wasn't sponsored. And then when I graduated, I joined Deloitte as a graduate software engineer, for which I did manage to get sponsorship. I did that for a couple of years, and then I transitioned into product management, still at Deloitte. Did that for 3 more years, again, was sponsored for that. And then after 5 years at Deloitte, I started a business called Poly. And Poly is a platform that helps other international talent find and land jobs in the UK with visa sponsorship. And that was born out of my personal struggles with navigating the sponsorship system in this country. So the things that I'm going to share, I've kind of chopped it up in 2 themes. So the first theme is ways to make your hire more affordable for employers as a candidate that requires sponsorship. So things that you can share with them that they might not know about. And then the second theme is more like a resource piece, so where you can actually go and look for companies, jobs, referral opportunities, that sort of thing. I am assuming, by the way, like a base level of familiarity with the skilled worker visa. So if I say anything that doesn't make sense, or you want me to explain it a little bit more, just let me know. So just starting off by the costs. Like the costs are really interesting because even when speaking to employers who have sponsored people, they're not like always aware of the options that they have when it comes to paying less. They always look, or they're always quoted by immigration firms the bigger amount. And and I think it's only when you try and do the process yourself you realize the options that you have available. And I know this firsthand because when I started working on my business, initially my co-founder sponsored me. So we actually got a license, a sponsorship license for ourselves to get me working at the business. So if you are going into conversations, let's say you've managed to get through the interview stage, you have now a conversation lined up with an employer, you can tell them, hey, listen, like I'm not sure whether you know that it's not, if they're a smaller company, you can let them know that the things you might be hearing regarding the costs of sponsorship, they're actually not that high for your size of a business. Right? You can see the difference between the cost of obtaining a license. It's £574 compared to roughly 3 times as much if you are medium or large. And then when it comes to paying the immigration skills charge that the company has to pay when they issue a certificate of sponsorship for you, again, you can see that there's a pretty meaningful gulf in prices. So this is one of the things I wanted to emphasize because routinely I speak to people who tell us that they have to educate the employers and even HR professionals. You'll be surprised at the number of HR professionals who work here who don't actually know the ins and outs of fees. So that's kind of like something to really bear in mind as you go into conversations. And I've provided the links to the pages where you can find further guidance about these things. The next one is negotiating with your employers to de-risk the costs for them. So this is just making them feel better about taking the gamble on an international candidate. So first one is, if you have the means to afford it, you can offer to pay for the skilled worker visa application costs yourself. Now, this is something that people have used only when they have absolutely needed to, when they haven't had any other choice. Most of the people I know have had their costs all covered by the employers, and that was the case for me as well with Deloitte. But every now and again, if you're working for a really small company that's cash strapped, you might have to offer to pay that yourself. Note that there are certain costs that the employer cannot legally ask you to cover. So the visa application costs doesn't fall under that. You can be asked to pay for that. But then there are certain costs, if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, there are certain costs that the employer solely has to undertake themselves. And then another option you have when it comes to negotiating with the employer is offering to have a clawback clause in your contract. And this basically means that if you, for whatever reason, decide to leave your employment early, you say that you will repay any reclaimable costs back to the employer. So this was the case for me, again, at Deloitte, both when they sponsored me and when they renewed my sponsorship. They said that we're going to pay for everything, but if you leave in the next 6 months after we pay for all these costs, then we're going to ask you to pay that back. So it's not unheard of. Again, links in the relevant links are at the bottom of the slide. Cool. Now I want to touch a little bit on not exactly the costs on the employer side, but more indirect in terms of the salary, the freedom you have, or the leverage you have in terms of being paid different salary amounts that are not just the top line threshold that is cited when it comes to skilled worker visa, which has now gone up to 41.7K. So there are ways in which you can be paid less than that, and that might make your conversation with employers easier, especially if you're more kind of on the junior slash entry level side of the spectrum. So the first one is the immigration salary list. Now, this is a list of skilled jobs which have lower requirements. And this used to be a pretty big list. It used to be a pretty expansive list, but recent governments have reduced the size considerably. You can see a snapshot of the types of jobs that are on this list on the right-hand side. I kind of try to think of like more relevant ones, so that's kind of what the snapshot is. But then there are a bunch more that you can check at the link on the slide. Something that is a bit more generous than the immigration salary list, but also comes with a 30% discount on the salary threshold, is something that I think used to be called new entrant. I think they don't quite call it that anymore, or like the word is being phased out. But that's the best way to search for it. That's the results come up when you look for new entrant. So the new entrant visa again means that you could be paid a minimum of 33.4 instead of 41.7, given you meet one criterion of a set. So if you're under 26 on the date that you're applying for the visa, or if you are currently in the UK on a student visa, or if you've been on a graduate visa in the last 2 years, and there's a few more options, but that gives you some flexibility. So it's a popular option for recent grads to go on. If you're going to consider joining a startup, it's pretty appealing as well. And the option that you have with startups is you can say, hey, listen, pay me less hard cash upfront, and maybe let's talk about some equity options, right? And that works really well because startups tend to be cash strapped and they want you around for the longer run. So it can create an interesting conversation. So just know that this option is available. Again, links on the right-hand side. And there are a bunch of other ways that might be too niche to like really dedicate slides to, but the snapshot is on the picture on the left-hand side. And if you want to see some more information, Davidson Morris, which is a legal firm, has a pretty good guide breaking it down. Cool. So the second theme is tips and tricks, things that I've heard people use, I've used myself, and the things that we kind of enable as Poly as a company as well. So finding companies that sponsor. Many of you probably have heard of or have seen the leftmost image. It's the register of licensed sponsors in the UK. It's a very large list. It's a list of 140,000, just shy of 140,000 companies in the UK that have the legal ability to sponsor visas. And that's generally the first port of call for many people when it comes to discovering companies that sponsor them. Perfectly fine, but obviously it's a bit time consuming when it comes to like scrolling through that list, Googling companies, checking whether they have any active jobs, whether they have jobs that you are interested in applying for, etc. Another one, this is a list that I really like, is the Great Place to Work lists. And they break down top workplaces in the UK broken down by industry. So you can go and check out the best workplaces in tech. Within that, you can look at companies by different size. And the odds are that many of them will be sponsoring. Again, like this isn't like exclusive to companies that sponsor, but if you go on the medium to larger end of companies, it's a pretty good bet that they will be sponsoring. And then if you're willing to put in a little bit more work, then I would suggest using a tool like a sales tool. Apollo is one of them. So what you can do is you can construct some queries. So you can say, I'm looking for X and Y job titles at companies in X and Y location. And this is the employee size. And you can construct queries that help you find companies that you might not have otherwise heard of, or that might not be very popular with other candidates. Also, you can find employees who work at those companies, and then you can try and get their emails or get their LinkedIn and reach out to them for a referral. Cool. And then like this is set of guidance, set of best practices, tips. It's quite miscellaneous, but these are things that I have observed to have worked for people that are in my network. You try and find companies that have just become sponsors recently. So that list that I just shared on the previous slide of licensed sponsors, that's updated multiple times a week. It's not every single day usually, but it's multiple times a week. And you can just do like a difference check on it. You can use like the free tools available on the internet that will let you do a diff check and try and find companies that have recently become sponsors, because that means that they're clearly thinking about sponsorship in some capacity. They're probably starting hiring. So that's like a really niche, rare way of trying to find companies that that could be entertaining sponsorship. Then try and find smaller companies to reach out to if you know that they have the license to sponsor, because it's easier to get in front of decision makers. One of the big complaints is that you go to LinkedIn, you go to Indeed, and like 500 people have applied to the job in like 30 seconds. So try and go to smaller companies where you have a better chance of standing out and making a case for yourself. You're not getting lost in long cycles of formal recruitment processes. Try and find international people to network with at companies that you want to work at, or people who are doing the roles that you're interested in doing. Something that I've had people tell me that they do is they go to the LinkedIn page of a company and they look for names that sound like names of people of where they are from, right? So like in my case, I'll have people tell me they look for Indian sounding names, and they try and message them and ask for guidance. And you don't want to ask for a referral straight away, because people want to know you before they refer you. So strike a conversation, ask for their help, for their advice, and then if you feel like you've built a relationship there, then maybe ask for a referral. And then if you don't need immediate sponsorship, try and start working at a company that has a sponsor license but isn't sponsoring you right now, and then agree to discuss sponsorship in 6 to 12 months. So again, if you have a post-study work visa / graduate visa, then this is a very popular thing that people do. What I will say is that try and get this in writing as much as possible, that you will revisit it. And if a company then at the 6 or 12-month mark says that they will sponsor you kind of when you need to be sponsored, get that down in writing, get that commitment down, because I've heard horror stories of people being promised sponsorship and then companies turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, like things have changed. Sorry, not going to do that. So this is kind of a basket of best practices and tips that you might not necessarily easily find on the internet. And the last slide is a bit of a shameless plug for what Poly does. All of the tips that I just offered, we embed all of it into our platform. So we want to keep things as accessible as possible. We're trying to help as many international people as we can, because I've been through it myself. The cost is just a quid just to filter out bots. And yeah, you can find jobs. So on the left hand side, the leftmost image is showing you a job with some information around how many employees have been sponsored there, whether you can reach out to them. You can filter companies by size. All of the companies on Poly offer sponsorship. And we also include information around salary, so you can see whether sponsorship is available based on that salary threshold or not. So yeah, that is all. I hope that was useful.
It was very, very useful. And Karen, you didn't mention one of the best parts of Poly, which is that it is free to applicants. Am I correct?
Well, it's free
Mostly free.
it's free in a limited capacity. But if you want the full pro
Exactly.
plan, yeah, yeah,
There's
it's a quid. It's £1.
yes, so that's what I was trying to say, that it's free for you to start using,
Yeah.
and it's one of the platform that we think is really useful for you to know, particularly if you are looking at the UK. And Karen also talked about a number of tips that looks really useful for people, particularly if you're in the UK and if you have a bit of time in the UK, you can use it. One Sorry about that. I was just talking about Polly, and I was also saying that Karen had shared a lot of information about the different things that you can do, particularly if you're in the UK, you're looking at these pathways, you're looking for visa sponsorship. If you're in the UK and you still have a bit of time, maybe you shouldn't be applying for just jobs that have sponsorship, as they mentioned. Maybe you want to also look at jobs that do not even have the sponsorship license yet, right? Because you could negotiate with your employer, and that was part of what he was talking about as a strategy for them to obtain a sponsor's license so they could sponsor you as part of that journey. And if you're a startup founder, you may even want to look at the likes of the self-sponsorship route. On the Emigrate platform, we do have the self-sponsorship route as one of the 5 routes available for the UK, and so on. So there's a lot there to unpack, and there's a lot there to talk about. And as we said earlier, if you do have questions, drop them in the chat. We will be going into the chat. We'll be taking questions from the different communities as part of the question and answer session. But we are going to France now. We're going to Cecile in France, who's going to be sharing from our perspective and also sharing from the perspective of France in terms of this same topic around visa sponsored jobs. How do I find the right employers? How do I move to France? And so on. Cecile, please take it away.
Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if you see my screen.
We see your screen at this point.
Okay, cool. So now we are in France. I'm Cecilia Mia. I'm the co-founder of Easy Paper. We at Easy Paper, we help a lot of foreign people. We are a one-stop shop of mobility to France. So we build a lot of tools to help foreign people come in France and start work in France, or build their company, develop their startup. It depends. With my team, we have started Easy Paper at 2021, and for now we are a team of 7 people. So you can see we have our own website if you want to know more about our services. So we don't have at France, we don't have a concept like a visa sponsored job, but it's look like. So we have what we call the talent passport visa. In France, they have the talent passport visa, which is a for residence permit. You can apply for it, and you have like a 4-year renewable permit. This talent need a minimum salary. It's a fast track process, but this is in paper. First, when the French government start the talent passport visa, the goal were to attract high skill people in France and to fast track the common employee visa and help company to hire those high qualified people. But now the French administration is quite special, so sometimes it's not a fast tracking process. That's why you have a company like us, Easy Paper. So another thing very interesting with the talent visa is you can come with your family. It's one of the visa giving you the right to come with your family. If you are married, you can come with your spouse or your husband or your children. You have another advantage, which is the career mobility. So with the talent passport, you can, if you have what they call the blue card, you can have another work in the Schengen zone. So you can work in another country in the Schengen zone with the blue card. So, what you need to know is that France is working now to be one of the best ecosystem in tech in the world. So we have a place like Station F, which is the biggest startup ecosystem in the world, which is the biggest campus of startup in the world. You have a lot of VC, a lot of business angel. So the goal of the government is to give to those startups like Mistral, which is one of the biggest AI startup in France, is to give them the opportunity to hire high skilled people in the world. So you can be part of this. What you need is just to prepare well your application and know more about information, how the French policy of immigration, how it works, and you need to have some tips. So I expect that I will share you some of these tips. Okay, so okay. So, first of all, about the company certification. Now, I'm trying to present to you the support the sponsor company need to be recognized as an innovative company in France. So, one of the French tech visa giving you the opportunity to come in France for 4 years is what they call the French Tech Visa for employees. And this French Tech Visa for employees, to apply for this French Tech Visa for employees, the company needs to be certificate as an innovative. So there is three way for this company to be certificate as a French innovative company. Maybe it's a company they have raised fund with BPI France, which is the public bank for investment, or with VC, as you can know. Or maybe they have the G status. The G status is the young innovative company in France. The G status is about taxes. So when you have the G status, you have special taxes. You don't have taxes for some time, like 1, 2, or 3 years. Yeah. So you can have the innovative characteristic if you are incubated or if you are accelerated for one of the incubator or accelerator recognized by the French tech ecosystem. So there is some incubator in France or some accelerator, they have the French tech label. So if you apply for a visa with those startup in one of these incubator like Station F, like School Lab, you can apply for the French Tech visa for employees. But the company need to give you the letter of the government. So it's a letter given by the French government, the Ministry of Economic Affairs. So they give you they give to the company a letter to recognize that this company is innovative, and you take this letter and then you can apply for the French Tech visa for employee. So I put here how to verify that the company have the certification. So you can verify by is this company French Tech labelized, or is the company funded by BPI France or another VC actor. But you have another level of innovative company. So the company can apply for the innovative character by showing that they have like two C-level of French Tech, two C-level actor of French Tech, giving the company two later to recognize that, okay, this company is innovative, they give us or we have worked with this company in this field, or they help us with our brand or with our services to modernize our services. So this you have some company, they can apply for the letter of recognition by this way. So in the French tech ecosystem, you have three big category of French tech visa. My goal is to share you all the ecosystem of the high skill visa, so you can know maybe in another event I can share you more about how to apply for the French tech visa for founder or for the French tech visa for investor. But now I will focus just for the French tech visa for employees. So which are the job now which is considered as a high skill job, and maybe I can talk about a high demand job. So for me, I think that now in France you have two possibility to apply for a visa when you are a professional in the tech sector. So first of all, you need to consider: am I applying for a visa in a high demand sector, or am I applying in a job as a high skill professional? If you are applying for the high demand job, you have like you have an advantage. So because with the French law, you have an advantage because they don't you cannot be so you don't need to wait that the company, the French company, to start trying to hire people of France or some resident before hiring you. So you can directly apply for the work permit if you are considered, or if the job for which you are applying is considered as a high demand job sector. But if you are considered as a high skill professional, so you can apply for the talent visa, because in the high demand job you will apply for what they call a visa for employee. So it's a common visa. But if you are a high skill professional, you can apply directly for the talent, which I call here French Tech visa for employee. But the employer need to give you a minimum salary which match with this kind of visa. So now in France, you have like software development, cloud computing, cyber security, data engineering, or machine learning. So now I think those are job which is considered now in France as a high demand job for high skill people. How to find job in France? I think is same way in lot of developed country as Canada or UK. You have Welcome to the Jungle. Why? Because there is a lot of scale up French scale up. They have a lot of work board in Welcome to the Jungle or LinkedIn. You can trying to network with people, discuss with them, and then you can apply for those jobs. Thai talent, if you need, or Indeed friends. Indeed organize sometime. They organize what event with some company to hire foreign people in France, as I know, because we have worked with them in some month that they were just trying to diversify people. Yeah. So this is one thing. Maybe France is very, France. The politics in France is they give a lot of importance to the diversity. So for them, they see foreign people as a diversity. So it's very important for company to demonstrate that they hire French people and they hire foreign people too, to diverse the ecosystem. Am I on time? Okay. Okay. One of is there something? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You're almost done, so please go ahead with your points.
Yeah, okay. One of the best advantage of the high skill visa in France, which is French Tech visa, is that you can bring directly your family, as I explained at the beginning. So you can bring your spouse, and one of the advantage to come with your family is that if your spouse or your husband have want to start a job in France, they automatically have a work authorization. So they automatically have a work permit. So this is very interesting, because as you know, in France you cannot work in France if you are a foreign people. You cannot work without a work permit. So this is one of the advantage of the French Tech visa for employees. And your family, when the family come, their residence permit is attached to yours. So if your stay finish, then your family stay finish too. So the application process for the family is quite easy. It's very easy. We have for now we have 1 to 2 weeks of application for the family when the high skill is in France. We can bring his family in 2 weeks. So yeah, for the financial requirements, so this is about the company. The company needs to propose you a job firstly. So in France, you cannot come in France to find a job. You need firstly to have a job proposal by the company. So if you need to apply for the French Tech visa for employee, so this is the minimum salary the company need to propose you. You have another visa, which is the blue card visa, which is the 59,000 euro minimum salary, which is for me one of the best visa in France and in the Schengen zone. When you come in France with this kind of visa, so the French Tech visa, one of the advantages is that after 5 years of living in France, you can apply for the permanent resident. So this is very interesting because the permanent resident give you 10 years renewable residence permit, and you don't have because when you start with the French Tech visa, you need to work only in the field and with the company which hire you. But with the permanent residence, you can apply for other jobs, and it's open you more possibility in France. And I think now with the French authority, they are very open with high skill professional, because they know that is the future. Many of them are engineer, and when you come and you stay 5 years without any problem, you are not dangerous for the public. And other, so you can easily apply for the 10 years permanent resident. Okay, about the timeline, I think it's very important. The timeline now is like 3 to 6 months. It depends. It depends on the country where you live. If you live in a French or a Francophone country, it could be long, very long. Why? Because there is many people applying for visa to come in France in Francophone country. But I think it's not the same thing in Anglophone country, because many people in Anglophone country want to go in USA or in UK. So yeah, but now we have about the timeline like 3 to 6 months, starting to the job the job proposal, or if we need to apply for if we need to apply for the work permit. The work permit is 2 months. So the French administration can they can instruct the application for the work permit for 2 months. But now at Easy Paper, we have 1 month of delay for the work permit. And when you have the work permit, then you can apply for the visa. And this is only for the visa for employee. One of the thing with the French Tech visa for employee is that you don't have the work permit side. So that's why the French Tech visa is a fast tracked visa, because you don't have this side of a work permit, and then you can apply directly if the company give you the minimum salary asking by authority. You can apply directly for the French Tech visa for employees.
Yeah. So if you just round up and then we'll get into the question and answer, and I'm
Yeah.
sure many of these will come up in questions as well. So one
Yeah,
more
sure.
minute.
Yeah, sure. I think it's okay. I have finished. Another thing which is very important is that you need to learn French because now for the long stay visa in France, you need to have the A2 degree. And you need to know more about France. You need to to learn the history of France, because it's very political sometimes, and French people need foreign people coming in France to know more about them. Do not hesitate to learn about France, his geography, his history, his politics. I think it's okay. Maybe I will take a question, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cecile. Really, really appreciate your session. And I believe the community also, because there's a lot of information that you've shared. And we're coming on to the point of question and answer at this point. I know Odun will join us as part of the question and answer in a moment. And I did say that I was going to ask a question to the community. We've had three different coaches, three different speakers sharing from their different countries. Did you find anything similar in these different requirements? Could you drop it in the chat? And just to mention, what I'm looking for is not be globally attractive. That is already given. To say if you are globally attractive, you have options of all of these different visa opportunity, all of these pathways to help you move to these different countries of the world. But then did you find other similarities, other things that every speaker spoke about? I noted out some, and I wonder how many of them will come up in the chat. So if you do, share with us on the chat, if you've been paying attention, what are some similarities across these different visa opportunity. And as we mentioned, on the Emigrate platform, we focus on the UK, US, Canada, France, Germany, and Australia. We use three of these countries to just give you an idea of what is out there, what is available to you if you are globally attractive. With the UK, there's the UK skilled worker visa. You will need a certificate of sponsorship from an employer to be able to. And there are many other routes in the UK, like the global talent visa and so on. With the US, there's the H-1B, which is lottery based, and they're even clamping down on that. But then there's also O1 visa, the EB2 NIW, the EB1, that is available in the US. Canada, Odun was talking to us about the global talent stream and even the express entry, which is something you may want to look at. France, Cecile was talking about the French Tech visa, the talent passport, and so on. Australia has the skilled nominated visa. They have the national innovation visa that is not employer based, but then there's skilled independent visa, different subclasses and so on. Germany also EU blue card visa, and Germany also has its own specific visa opportunity, including the job seeker visa, where you can move to Germany, go look for a job as long as you meet some of the other requirements. So across all of these different countries, these different economies, all of them have opportunities that they've created, for talents to be able to move. I'm going to check in the chat. I'm saying job offer, yes. So that's given to say you must have a job offer as part of you being able to move. But then you have to be highly skilled. You have to be talented. You need to be able to attract the right employers. Now, there are employers in all of these jurisdictions. Not every employer in this jurisdiction can support you, can sponsor you. Depending on the different countries, there are different words that they use. They give you a letter of reference, certificate of sponsorship, and so on. But it is not every single employer in these countries that would enable that for you. So you need to also target your search to the kinds of employers that are able to help you in your journey. With France, for example, with the French Tech Visa, there's a French Tech Visa for employers and so on. With Canada, you have designated organizations. With the UK, you have organizations that have the certificate of sponsorship. And Karen was talking about the fact that you can find a targeted list of these organization. And one of the smart things you can do on Poly, for example, is that you can target organization who has recently gotten that certificate of sponsorship. But also the speakers talked about relationship building to say that part of what you can do for you to optimize your chances of finding these employers is building relationship, even if you don't need those relationships yet. Building relationships because of just building those relationships, but then being targeted at the kinds of organization. Some of the speakers spoke about you building those relationships, targeting people already in organization that can offer you those kinds of sponsorship and so on. You have to be visible in one way or the other. And one of those ways for you to be visible is, first of all, apply. Ensure you optimize your chances of being successful by applying, first of all, right? But then it's also possible to build a profile where some of these jobs will come to you. Technical recruiters looking for people like you, people with the level of skill that you do have. All of these are available to you only because you are globally attractive. And the Emigrate platform helps you to optimize many of these things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Helps you to optimize many of these things as part of your journey. But then we come to the point of question and answer at this point. And I know Karen is still on. And yes, so I see a number of questions in the chat already. And as we said to you beforehand, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. You will not be able to unmute yourself, come on the stage to interact with the coaches and speakers on this call, because this is the open day. We do have premium coaching sessions where you are able to do that on the Emigrate platform. And so you can drop your questions in the chat. And if you're watching the replay video, you can drop your questions on the platform where you are watching this replay video, because we will get one of the community managers will get across to the coaches who will be able to get the answer to your question to you at the shortest possible time. And so I'm going to start with the question that says, I'm currently an undergraduate. Do I have to wait till I graduate before I can start applying for these jobs? And Karen, I'm going to start with you in terms of this question. So this is an undergraduate and is asking to say, oh, do I have to wait till I graduate before I can start? An undergraduate in his own country, in this case, do I have to graduate before I can start? Or if he's already skilled, experienced, doesn't have a degree, does he stand a chance or she stand a chance of being able to land some of these opportunities? Karen, I'll go to you, and then Cecile, I'll ask you to also answer from the perspective of France.
Sure. Yeah, I think fundamentally it depends on what type of company you're applying for or applying to. Because if you are applying to a smaller company, usually, I guess one step, if I take a step back, is also how long you've got left before you graduate. Because if you go to a smaller company, they typically want you to start fairly soon. They don't really go to the market much in advance before they've actually identified a need for someone. And when they have identified a need, speaking as someone who has a startup, they need you pretty quickly. So it depends on how long you've got left before you graduate and the size of company you're applying for. when I got my job at Deloitte, that was a totally different process because I did it as part of the graduate scheme, which meant that I started in September 2019, but I had my job offer in like April 2019. So, it's different, a big company kind of long cycles. So it's totally contextual. If you want, you can put some more info in the chat and then we can look at it. But yeah, that's the answer based on what you've said thus far.
Thank you for that, Karen. And Cecile?
Yeah. For France, it depends. So you have if you are applying for the high demand job to have the visa for employee, you don't need to justify any graduation. But if you are applying for the French Tech visa, you have two options because you have the French Tech visa for employees, but in this French Tech visa for employees, you have you have three category in the French Tech visa for employee. One of this category concern people graduate. So if you are graduate, you can apply for the French Tech visa for employees. But if you are applying for the French Tech visa as for the company, the innovative company, you don't need to be graduate. But if you are applying for the what they call the blue card, the European blue card, you have two options. So you need to justify that you are graduate, you have a bachelor degree, or if you don't have the bachelor degree, you can justify that you have 3 to 5 years of experience.
Fantastic. And I think that's the key thing to say to that students in the room, to say many of these roles, they are looking for your skill. So yes, there are some of them that require you to have a degree across the world, but many of them, they are more interested in the fact that you are coming to their country, to this employer to solve a problem. And so it's called skilled worker visa for the UK, for example. It's called skilled worker visa because you have a specific skill that is in high demand, that is rare, that the employer was not able to find in their home economy. They weren't able to find it within the citizens in that economy. They weren't able to find the right person as a permanent resident in that economy, which is why they are looking globally to hire. And so your job and your role is that whether you've graduated or you've not yet graduated, you want to build your profile to show that you have that skill, you have that experience, you are able to solve this problem. And then that is why they would consider you in the first place. But although I see you're back, and I wanted you to just chip in as well. There was a student asking the question to say, do I need to wait till I graduate before I start this journey, before I start applying for some of these roles? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think it will depend on where you are on your journey. These days, a lot of people, I mean, in the tech space, you pick up skills along the way. You may be a great cybersecurity professional already. So the most important thing is you being able to do the work. Of course, it's a fantastic idea for you to have your education. So I'm not saying, hold off on education and then start applying, but I mean, you can start to look at what are the requirements, what are the key skills I need to have? Is there any certification, for example, that I am seeing is a common denominator across some of the job postings that I have seen? Because, your bachelor's degree won't give you certifications. You will still need to do certifications outside of your bachelor's degree for whatever field it is, cybersecurity, project management, things like that. So these are things that can help you decide or determine what direction you will go to. So, I mean, again, there's no harm in trying, right? You never know. You may be that genius that the world is looking for. So, yeah, you can definitely start looking at them.
And just to add as well, from an immigrant perspective, is don't wait till you graduate. start building your profile now. What the Emigrate platform does for you is you can create a multi-year roadmap to say, although you are not yet qualified today, right, for some of these opportunity, you know the things that they are requiring of you across skill, talent, experience, exposure, community building, relationships, all of those kind of things. And you can build a multi-year roadmap journey for you to get there. And those are the kinds of things that we are encouraging you as a globally attractive talent to pay attention to. And yes, we were talking about common denominator across these different countries, these different visa pathways, and all of that. We were talking about the fact that a lot of them lead to permanent residency. A lot of them don't require your education in terms of a degree. A lot of them allow your spouse to work in this new jurisdiction, in this new economy. A lot of them allow you to be able to become a permanent resident or a citizen within the shortest possible time. So I'm going to ask a question to all the speakers to say why your country, right? What are some key things that you would want talents to consider if they were looking at choosing your country, or the UK, the UK, Canada, and France? Cecile, I'm going to start with you to say why France, and then we'll go to Odu next, and then we'll go to Karen yeah.
Oh, why France? Because of Paris. Paris is the city of love, the city of beauty. No, seriously, why France? France, it's very interesting because we have a good social security service. Public service in France are really good for me, I think. And so if you have a family, so you are looking for maybe a country in which you have a balance between the history and the future. I think France is yeah, it's a good choice because you can find a lot of people here with these people are big mind, they are good mind, but you can find this part of history in France because you have all the right, how can I call it, the what they call les droits de l'homme. So it's the right of human. So France is the country of human right. So when you come in France, you know that you are choosing a country for human rights, you are choosing a country of history, and you are choosing a country of love.
uh, yeah, Odu, why Canada? Why should these talents choose Canada?
It almost sounds like I'm trying to sell Canada. I don't think I need to. I think Canada sells itself very well already because you know that, whatever pathway you explore, you do, as long as you are strategic, you do have a pathway to permanent residence. Permanent residence in Canada looks like in the next 3 years, I can become a Canadian citizen. I don't think I need to market that any further compared to what, several other countries are saying right now. No shade to any country, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So yes, you are able to get your citizenship as soon as in the next 3 to 4 years, once you get your permanent residence. And of course, Canada is a beautiful place for you to raise your family. I have spoken to a lot of people, and more than half the people I've spoken to, that's one of the reasons why they choose Canada, because it's a family friendly country. It's definitely a place that you can raise a family. And even if you don't have a family, it's generally a safe, peaceful place. So yeah. And there's lots of people from all over the world in Canada. Trust me, you will meet people from all over, particularly in Toronto. You will meet a lot of people. But yes, I think I'll just keep it at that. Your blue passport, you can get it in less than 5 years.
And Karen, UK? I know you moved from Singapore to the UK as well. So UAE to
Dubai.
the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, UK, despite despite the things that you're hearing from the politicians here, fringe views are loud. But I will say for the for like my actual lived experience here, people are really multicultural. They appreciate the diversity, very welcoming, very tolerant. Um, and that's a big contributor to London having the status that it has on the global stage, and especially in Europe. It's the startup capital of Europe. There are lots of companies, innovative, exciting companies being founded here every week. I think it has like the highest proportion of unicorns um, in Europe. So there's a lot of capital here. There's a lot of interesting companies, which then attracts a lot of interesting talent, a lot of career opportunities. It's English speaking as well, so it makes managing all of your administrative work pretty straightforward. The digital infrastructure here from a public services perspective is also very good. So, whenever I've had to apply for visas, my application, my PR, and now I'm doing my citizenship, it's all been very simple, very easy to use. I haven't had to get legal help because it's all very straightforward, presented on the website. So yeah, and I just if you like good coffee, all this Paris is a very good place for good coffee, but London is great too.
And Karen, I'm going to stay with you because one of the questions, and we're going to all the three speakers as well. A question, and I'm combining many questions together, is we have people who say, how do I find my employer? I've been applying and applying and applying, and nothing is clicking, nothing seems to be clicking, and all of that. And I know you've all mentioned different tips and so on. What can you say to that individual who now is wondering to say, oh, will this actually work out for me? In terms of just finding that right employer. Some of them already in the UK trying to find a pathway to settlement via the employment route, and some in their own country applying for jobs remotely and trying to figure out how they could. And there are some things you can say to that person is done quite a number of application, still hasn't clicked, and wondering how do I find that employer? Because they just need one, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let me know if you want me to answer this without talking about the context of poly, because all of the tips that I would advocate for, they kind of go through the platform. So, for example, if poly didn't exist, I would have said try and find employers that sponsor in your niche, and ideally they are smallish so you can network with them, right? So, one of our users reached out to me this week that she's from the US, so not even here, never been here. She found a company through a platform using the filters that is in her niche, and they didn't have any active opportunities. But she reached out to them anyways, expressed to them that she's very passionate about what the company does and how she'd be a great fit, and shared her background. And the company actually said, you know what, like, let's just talk. And that first conversation turned into an interview, and then it became a few more rounds of interviews, introduced her to the team. And just like that, they invented a position for her. And now she's being sponsored and she's moving from the US to the UK. So if there's any way for you to find companies that sponsor in your niche, and you can find a way to get in front of them directly, I've even suggested people, if you are physically here in the UK, like go and stand outside their office, like try and have coffee at a cafe near the office, and there's a chance that you'll run into someone who works there. I've gone next to Apple's offices, and I went for lunch there, and I ended up having lunch with an employee from Apple when I was still at university. So that you can get creative. But yeah, hope that gives you an idea of kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yes, it does, and I know there's a lot more there. And Odu, let's go to you next. I know for Canada it's not quite visa sponsorship, but you still need to find employers that will support your application journey. How do I find that one employer that's I'm looking for?
I think for me, I would say that if you need to build a lot of resilience, and that's the truth, because I've heard people say I've applied to 200 employers and I still haven't got feedback. I say this not because I want to discourage anyone, but we've got to be in touch with the reality of today. So you're going to have to be resilient and just know that it's not going to be it's not a journey that wouldn't come with its own challenges, right? You're going to have to keep trying, keep building yourself, keep building capacity, but more importantly, keep trying. And the thing is, with immigration to Canada, I find that people are in many cases eligible for more than one program. So the fact that you are keen on, your cybersecurity career does not mean that there are no other opportunities that you can explore. So you've got to be open-minded as well. For all you know, French could be your pathway to Canada at the end of the day. That doesn't mean you will come to Canada and become a French lecturer or a French tutor. No, it just means that you're a bilingual individual who's got a lot more to offer than an average person walking the streets of Ontario, maybe. So my encouragement will be don't give up, just keep trying, keep looking, and be very open to exploring other options. You may end up coming to study in Canada, and that may be eventually how you navigate your permanent residence journey, but just keep your eyes on the prize, keep applying, keep reaching out to people. Karen also said something about reaching out to people that look like you. I think that's a very beautiful way to coin that LinkedIn strategy because you never know, right? I resonate with people's journey, people's struggle, because there was a time in this country where my daughter was the only Black kid in class. So when someone says to me, I'm from here and I'm looking to this and this is my journey, this is part of the reasons why I do what I do, because I understand your journey as an immigrant in a new country. And it's from my lived experience. It's not what I heard people say or what I read from a book. So essentially, just don't give up, keep trying and be open-minded to try other options as well. I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. And Cecile, how do I find that one employer? You're on mute, Cecile. How do I find that one employer? Because yes, I may apply to 1,000 or 200 or maybe two, but all at the end of the day, you just need that one break.
Yeah, I think for the French people, or for the French company, uh, you need first to have a strategy, a strong strategy between your skills and the French culture. I think the culture is very important in France. So you need to understand. Maybe it's the same thing in other country. You need to understand well how employer in France, how they work, how to present yourself, how to present your resume. Do not send like bulk resume just to find job. It's not it's time consuming for you and for the employer, and it cannot serve you. So take the time to understand how the company work, to connect with people, and to match the job offer. Do not hesitate to do what they call you can send your resume like maybe you don't have the company does not have a job offer, but you can send your resume just to know that if in the future they have a job offer matching with your profile, so they can call you. So take your time to build this connection and to understand all the challenge between the culture. I think the culture is very, very important. And for the French, for the French part, you need to learn French because a lot of company in France work in France. They speak in French. So it's very important to learn French if you want to come in France.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cecile. I see our time is far running. And so the next question I was going to ask was around how long does it take? But I'm just going to jump to some of the questions in the chat so that we can get as much of them in within the time that we have. And yeah, so I have the French national salary threshold. Check that online. You'll be able to find some information. We've talked about the graduates. French. Oh yes, Cecile, this is for you. It's important to know about French history and politics. Is that a compulsory requirement for the French tech visa, or more of a recommendation to help with adaptation to life in France?
No, it's not just a recommendation because now, as you know, with all the debate about the immigration. So there is now a law in France. It's mandatory for a long stay residence permit to pass an exam, which is called the civic exam. And this civic exam, you need to know the French history, the French politics, the French geography. Is about 14 question. It's a quiz. So starting I think starting January, starting January, they will start asking all the foreign people applying for a multi-annual residence permit to pass this exam. So it's very important.
Yeah. Yes, and just to mention that for the UK, for example, you would have to pass that not at the point of applying for the visa, but at the point of you settling in the UK, you will have to pass the life in the UK test, and so this is usually required for different countries, but different countries put it at different points in their journey. For Germany, for example, you will need to be able to speak German at a certain level for you to be able to move from one stage to the other in your journey. Somebody
Yeah.
mentioned that. Go ahead, Cecile.
Yeah, for the French part is the same thing. So you need to pass this exam to apply for the residence permit. But and you need to learn French as I explained when you come. And I know that it's not very easy for people if you don't live in a francophone country. It's not easy for you to learn French and to have the A2 level. So take time to learn it. Yeah. So this is important.
Thank you so much for that. And I need to beg for 15 more minutes from each of the speakers. I'm going to chat to you each privately just to beg for that. But for Germany, someone asked around, can you talk about Germany? We have a number of open days where we focused on Germany, from both the German work-based visa to the German EU blue card visa, and you will find a lot of details about Germany on all of those open days. You can find that on the Emigrate app. You can find the replay video. It's free, available on the Emigrate app, so you can use that. And also, we've also done sessions around different strategy. You'll find out that today's session is around just looking at the general landscape. That's what we've been talking about today. But for many of these pathways that we are talking about, we've done drill down session, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, giving a lot of details on these pathways, from the Canada startup visa to quite a number of different that are already available on the Emigrate platform. Over 100 different replay videos that would be absolutely useful for your journey. And so you can find the one you're looking for, even strategies for finding that employment, starting from the entire journey of you just ready for new opportunity to the point when you are applying actively. What are some things that you should be doing during that stage? To the point when you are talking to technical recruiters, to the point when you start talking to hiring managers. There are a lot of things that you should be doing. For example, if you don't get people generally just offering you roles to say, oh, are you interested in these or that? You may want to check the way your profile is actually being projected, because a number of people are looking for talent such as yourself. And so if they are not finding you, it may be because your profile is hard to find. And there may be different ways along those lines. Some of the speakers spoke about CVs, for example. A number of different countries have different expectation for the CV and some of the things that you should project out there in terms of your CV. And of course, by God, you're in the technology field. Ensure that your CV is ATS compliant. Also, we're in the world of AI. If you're not using AI to help your journey, and this is part of the platforms that we've built on the Emigrate platform, nowadays, before they will say my assistant will talk to your assistant, now is my AI will talk to your AI. And so you should be looking at some of those things as well in terms of optimizing your profile. Can we connect with the speakers if possible? Yes, there are two ways you can do that. You can reach out to the speakers on their LinkedIn, but you can also connect with the speakers through the Emigrate platform as well. So yes, you could possibly do that. Different ones of the speakers have different processes for you to be able to have one-to-ones or conversations with them at different levels. So please do respect their time. They've offered their time graciously on this platform, and you have the opportunity to ask them questions on this platform, although our time is fast spent. Somebody is asking, what would you advise, and this is for UK, so Karen, what would you advise for the best option to the UK for someone denied technician exceptional talent endorsement? Continue building your profile, noting there are limitations to sponsorship opportunity for someone not currently in the UK. That's not fully true. But Karen, okay. I see you already responded, but for the benefit of those that are watching the replay video, can you just give a bit of insight to this individual? Just to say again, we are not offering immigration advice or legal advice. This is just sharing from experience. And I would also touch on some things I believe isn't quite true from the question. But Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I didn't actually respond. I just asked for more information so that when we did get around to talking about it, we'd have some more context. I mean, based on the roles that they have said that they're interested in, which is product management or biz dev, I've seen people get sponsored for those roles, including when they haven't been in the country. So I'd be curious to understand kind of maybe where the bottlenecks might be specifically, because, speaking in general terms, sponsorship is available for those sorts of jobs. A lot of B2B startups that are scaling up, or a lot of B2B scale-ups in London will be looking for account manager type people. Someone from our platform got sponsored at Snap, the parent company of Snapchat, last month for account management / biz dev. I also have a couple of friends personally who are working at like some crypto startups, and they're being sponsored for biz dev roles. So it's very much possible. I was sponsored for product manager role. So yeah, I mean, don't be discouraged. There is sponsorship available for those jobs.
Fantastic. And also with the global talent, sorry about the rejection, but this is one of the ones where we've supported a lot of people who applied for the UK global talent visa. They got rejected, spent some time rebuilding their profile or just rebuilding their application. And then when they applied again, they got endorsed. And so you don't also give up on that route if you're already qualified, and even if you are not yet qualified, there's a lot of resources on the platform, both free and paid, that can help you to move from not qualified to being endorsed and being able to move successfully. And then it's not true that companies are not sponsoring. It is less now than it used to be 2 years ago for the UK specifically, but it is still available. And Karen was just talking about that as well. Too many questions that we still have, and I guess we'll need to do a part 2 of this particular session. Maybe we're a bit ambitious about all the things we wanted to cover. And so I'm just going to ask each one of our coaches, our speakers, to by way of final word. It's going to be a really long question just to prepare your mind, but by way of final word, because we really wanted you to speak to 5 categories of the Emigrate audience. Absolute beginner, they haven't started their journey in tech at all. Intermediates, they have 5, 6, 7 years experience, and they are building their profile, and some of them have even started applying to remotely for some of these roles. Advanced people who have 15 years experience, head of IT, a CTO in this organization, senior product manager somewhere, and so on. and all of them looking for roles and looking for these employers and that one employer that can move them and possibly move their family. Two subcategories would be people already in these countries but not on a pathway to settlement. And then fifth one would be people who are actively applying or ready to apply. They're actively applying and wanted you to speak to each one of these individuals. But I would like you to speak to them across the entire journey. And so on the Emigrate platform, we don't just focus on the relocation stage of the journey. We focus on the entire talent mobility landscape, which is actually cyclical, starting from the point of absolute beginner, you haven't done anything at all, to the point of building a multi-year roadmap, to the point of becoming qualified over a period of time, or building going on the qualification roadmap, to the point of getting endorsed, or in this case, sponsored by these employers, to the point of relocating. And I know we didn't touch so much around the integrating into the new economy and settling in the new economy. And also for some people, and Karen, you mentioned, for example, people that move from the US to the UK, for example. People also tend to want to move to a third country after achieving citizenship or settlement in some cases, or people want to move back home to their own economy at a higher level. We wanted you to just speak to all of these categories of people, and I know, of course, you will just touch on one part or the other. And Cecile, will start with you and then go to Odon and then go to Karen to just speak generally. And this will be like the final word because we definitely would like to have you all back, possibly drilling down a lot more because there's a lot that we did not unpack during today's edition. Please go ahead, Cecile.
Yeah, for me, it's quite long for all the parts. I'm not sure I can give an advice for all the entire path, but for me, I think at the beginning you need to learn from to have your degree, but one of the best thing is to develop your skills, because what company are finding is they just finding people with skills. So it's very important to develop your skill. It's not just about graduating. So this is for the the starter. And maybe for people with more experience, they need to go more straight to the point, because I think sometimes when we have foreign people online coming from Africa, they don't know that they have a lot of value for company. So it's like they are just asking something, or services. No, you are an expert, you are a professional, so just sell yourself as a professional and what you are bringing to the table, and do not hesitate to sell yourself and to demonstrate to the company your value, so they can understand that if they lose you, they are losing a value. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cecile. Odun?
Thank you very much. Yes, that is a broad range of people to speak to, but I will just wrap it up with three key things. I'm one of those people that when I study, I like to have acronyms. So form any acronym from all of this, however it works for you. But I think the first thing for me would be for you to be open to research. Do lots and lots of research. On this journey, it's an important journey in your life as an individual, as a professional. So you really need to do a lot of research. And again, another thing I would also want to say is be open-minded. I think I've said that before, but you really do need to be open-minded. Sometimes you hear of one pathway and it appears like, oh, that's it. Sometimes your journey can just be study can be what will open the door for you. It could be just about any other program. So I would say on this journey, be open-minded and speak to the right people. Be very, very careful who you speak to. Don't assume that everybody you see on the internet understands immigration is a very complex thing, really. So and people are getting defrauded every day. I was in Nigeria recently. I had like a road show in Lagos, Ibadan, and Abuja. And I tell you for a fact, many people have been scammed. People have been scammed hard-earned money. And it's really because it goes back to that initial problem. It's a fundamental flaw, is that people don't want to research. And so because of that, when people tell them something, they just take a hook, line, and sinker. So I will say, please be willing to do a lot of research, be open-minded, and please speak to the right people. Speak to the right people. I can speak for Canada. In Canada, immigration is a licensed field. If anything, you should be speaking to a licensed immigration consultant. And honestly, you will save yourself a lot of money. So I think those will be my final parting words. So if you formed an acronym from that, please drop the acronym in the chat box. Let us see what acronym you were able to form from that. So those will be my final words. Thank you again, buddy. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you so much, Odo. And Karen?
Cool. Yeah, I would say two kind of overarching points. That would be research and network. So research again, as Odunola just said, try and find things that are best suited for where you are in your journey right now. So if you are someone who's more senior, then the pathway that works best for you might be different to someone who's just starting out. If you have published a bunch of research papers, or if you have a lot of high profile executives that you have worked with, then you might be able to get endorsements for a certain kind of visa. So take stock of where you are right now, do your research of what options are available to you at different countries, and kind of prepare a ranking of most appropriate to least appropriate, and then take a pick of like the first three or something, and see what you need to do, see how close you are to qualifying for it, being eligible for it, and then work out a plan on what you need to do to fill that gap. So that's the research piece. And then the network piece would be like just get on people's radar. I When I was in uni, I used to write blogs, and randomly like one of my blog posts was seen by like this executive who worked at WeWork, and he introduced me to some people who were willing to give me an internship. So like just get visible, like do things that make you visible. I mean, LinkedIn, posting on LinkedIn, I don't know how much that gets you nowadays, just because there's so much noise. But like try it. If it works for you, great. Something that I would recommend is try and get go to networking events in your city. I also know people who have taken visit visas to come to London and spend some time here networking with companies, doing a bit of a like lining up a bunch of talks with a bunch of people, and just like being on the radar. So even if it's not for you, if the move is not on the horizon for you, like in the next 6 months, at least people remember you, people are aware of you, and if something crosses their table, then they'll send it across to you. So yeah, those would be my two things: research and network.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to our coaches on the call today. We really, really appreciate you. For the members of the community, please stay on. There's still a few things we would like to touch on with you, but I would like to just say a big thank you to our coaches, and we really appreciate. We will definitely be looking to do more of this. And I'm hoping that when we extend the invitation, you would honor us with the invitation yet again. Thank you for honoring us today. Before we let you go, though, we would like you to just share a bit about where we can find you, your business, what you do, some links you can drop in the chat, and all of that. We'd like you to just share that quickly. I know you did mention at the beginning of the introduction, and these are some of our ecosystem partner on the Emigrate platform, and you would hear a bit more around that in a moment for members of the community. So don't go away if you're part of the community. There's still a number of things we want to share with you, including the gift we promised you at the beginning of this session. But let's just go with that quickly. Cecile, how do we find you? Tell us a bit more about Easy Paper, and then how they can find you. Cecilia, you're mute. Okay.
Yeah. We have a website at Easy Paper. So I don't know if I explain well what we do at Easy Paper. So we are a mobility tool. We help both company and foreign people in France with our mobility tool. So first of all, what we do is helping French company hire foreign people with what we call easy mobility tool. So they can hire people by respect, because there is a lot of regulation, there is a lot of law about immigration, and it's very complex. So with our mobility tool, they have like something very easy for them to hire foreign people and to secure the contract by the way. And in the other side, we help foreign people coming in France start their business or find a job in France. It's not something we don't present it publicly, because when we find job for people, first we have some jobs by our company, partner company, so they give us some job offer, and in those job offer we can find people in the resume we have to share with this company. And sometimes those jobs are in a high demand job and a high skill job. For me now, you can find me in LinkedIn. I'm very active in LinkedIn. I will share my LinkedIn profile, and if you want, you can find us in our website, but maybe it will not be me, but one of the member of my team. If you want to know more about our services, it depends. So you can contact us by our website.
Yeah, thank you, Cecile. And if you could please drop that in the chat, and the community manager will make sure it's on the video description on any one of the platform where you're watching this from. Odun, do you want to go as well?
Thanks a lot. So I see that you have also helped to reshare. I put our website, it's there, J29 Immigration. The email address to reach us directly. If you also want to reach us on WhatsApp, there's that as well. On Instagram, all of that is there. We're active on YouTube. This just send us messages here. And of course on LinkedIn, you can find J29 Immigration on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, you can find us everywhere that you can think of. Yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Karen?
Yeah, so my LinkedIn and our website link, they're both in the chat. If you want to send me a message personally, then LinkedIn's probably the best way to do that. If you want to see what Poly is all about and how you can find companies, jobs that will sponsor you and people to network with, then check that out. We also have a team email if you want to send feedback and that sort of stuff. We're a two-person startup, so it's very likely there's a 50% chance that I will see your message if it's not my co-founder.
Thank you so much once again. We really, really appreciate you, to all our coaches and all our speakers on the platform. We call the speakers on this platform coaches, just to say, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just going to share a few more slides in the community, and just to make sure we bring all of these home in terms of this conversation we've had so far. What we've been talking about has been, and we focused on Canada, UK, and France. We focused on how to and what it looks like finding employers in this country, what some of the policies that are available are. And we tried to also demystify the fact that these countries still sponsor people to move across. And so, yes, you may have heard about the UK, for example, saying things like they are closing on immigration in the UK. And a lot of times with the May 2025 immigration paper for the UK, a lot of times people miss the fact that in that same paper, they also created funds, 50 million pounds funds for attracting talents to the UK. In many of these countries of the world, yes, they don't want people that will be burdens to their economy, but they are always looking for talents. They are always opening the room for talents. With the US H-1B, yes, that has been reduced, clamped down on because it was misused and abused according to their statistics. But then they also have O1, EB2, NIW, and a number of people that have foreign masters, right, in developed economies, and you already have experience, you may already be qualified, or at least you are close to qualifying for some of these opportunities. With France, French tech visa, and Cecile was talking about that today. With Australia, with the National Innovation Visa Scheme, used to be called the Australia Global Talent and the National Innovation Visa, and they do have their employers subclasses for employer sponsorship as well. Different countries call it different things. Different countries have different requirements, different processes. Some would expect you to do some things before you leave your home country. Some will let you arrive before they allow you to do some of those things. But ultimately, they want you if you are globally attractive. Today's session, we were focused on landing visa-sponsored jobs, finding that employer that would sponsor you. But do understand that on the platform, on the Emigrate platform, we look at the entire tech, talent, visa options and routes. So it could be around the employer-based ones like we focused on today. It could be about startup-based ones for genuine entrepreneurs to say, because you own a startup, you could look at the innovator founder visa, the Canada startup visa, the French tech visa for startups, and so on. It could be around your talent because you've shown yourself as a leading talent in your field. And there are quite a number of different talent-based visas along those lines. You could also look at an intermediate country to say, yes, maybe your final destination is the UK or France, but maybe you want to first move to Europe on one of the digital nomad visas. All of these are available on the platform. We have resources, templates, videos, coaches, human experts that can help your journey, regardless of which one you are looking at. Or if you're just looking at your option generally, then you can also look at that. Today, we've had our coaches and speakers sharing with us on the different things that you can do. We've had them sharing with us around some of these opportunities, and we deliberately didn't focus about the visa requirements and some of those things that you can easily Google. We didn't focus on things like, oh, does it lead to permanent residency? Google it. Does it, can my dependent work? Google it. Do your own research. And that came up a lot across all of these different visa pathways and across all of these coaches and speakers on the platform. The lowest common denominator is if you are globally attractive, you have options. On the Emigrate platform, we are here to support your journey. And as I said at the beginning, the platform, over 80% of what we do on the platform is actually free. We've built this platform for you. We built it as a community. We built it as an helpful platform that is able to help with the information and inspiration, able to help with the roadmap and you on a journey from where you are to where you want to be, and also able to help with all of the resources, including the artificial AI coach and AI agent and the AI assistant that is able to help your journey. But yes, we do have premium options on the platform as well. On the premium side, you could be looking at a do-it-yourself with a subscription to say, I need a little bit of support. I just need to, there are thousands of hours of information, but I just need the 2 minutes or 1 minute that is relevant to me at this point. You can find that on the platform. Or if you're looking for a do it with me to say, yes, I want a little bit of handholding, I want a lot of handholding, or a little bit of handholding, regardless of whichever one it is you're looking for, we have different do it with me options where a coach can walk the journey with you. And we have the do it for me. There's a lot that only you can do in this journey. Nobody can do it for you, but there are things that people can do for you, other experts, particularly if you're a busy professional. There are things that we can help you with, like project management, like logistics, like technical writing, like pushing your profile out there, like speaking engagements in terms of sourcing them and finding them and all of that. But in terms of the speaking itself, you have to speak yourself. The point I'm making is that if you need additional support, particularly if you're a busy professional, we do have premium options that are available for you. On part of the free side is we have our helpful community across WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. WhatsApp is the best community at the moment we are recording this session, but we are spending a lot of time, effort, and energy to build out engagement in all of the other communities, as well as bringing on board many more communities. On the free side, the best place to start is to download the Emigrate Tech Visa app. You can find out on the App Store, you can find out on the Google Play Store, and we do have a web option as well, because a lot of what we do for free, you will find on the Emigrate Tech Visa app, and some of the premium options as well, it starts from the app. On the Emigrate Tech Visa app, if you're able to achieve a 7-day streak on the platform, you will get an additional clarity session on the platform, and we do offer a referral bonus as well. Emigrate is an AI-first platform. And so we've built Emigrate AI, and we continue to build Emigrate AI to help your journey. A number of the things that we talked about today, the AI is able to help you get done. Some of the things like comparing, finding the right employers and sponsors for you on the platform is able to help you with that. The platform is able to surface the right information that you need at the right time. The platform is able to help you with that entire journey. What do you need to do today so that in 2 years' time you qualify for one of these visa opportunities? Or what do you need to do today so that within the shortest possible time you are able to achieve permanent residency or settlement? What are the insights that you need to know based on your profile and based on some changes that has happened across immigration policies and all of that? What do you need to adjust in your profile? And this is personalization at scale. This is what we are building. Not everything we want to build is ready today, but what is ready today, we are very proud of, and we ask you to use it because it will help your journey. It will reduce the time it will take for you to get to the destination that you are trying to get to. And all of these are available on the Emigrate platform, and we're very proud of that. An Emigrate platform also brings to you an ecosystem of partners across your journey. And these partners are also able to help you. You've heard from the likes of with Poly, you've heard from immigration consultants today, but then there are several different partners that you will need across the journey. This slide shows you what Emigrate does native on our platform above the line. And then right below the line are ecosystem partners that we can expose to you that can help you. At the preparation stage, if you're trying to do education, training, or you're looking for a pre-incubator and so on, Emigrate is able to introduce to that. At the roadmap stage, if you're looking for bootcamp and you're looking for that platform that is able to manage the entire journey for you, this is Emigrate. At the point of qualifying, if you're looking for incubators and things like that, we're able to introduce. If you're navigating the application journey, because as we said during the session, sometimes people do not get endorsed. People do not get these, not because they don't qualify, but because they are not doing it the correct way. They are not optimizing their chances. They are wasting time in some cases because rather than shooting directly at the target, you're just hoping for the right answer, because after all, the clock is right at least once every day, right? It used to be twice a day when it was analog clock, but now it's just once, if a faulty clock, that is. On the endorsement journey, at the relocation stage, we also can introduce to solicitors, lawyers, immigration consultants, and all of that. And if you're even looking for destination services, integration into this new economy, all of that, there are ecosystem partners that can help with all of this. If you're trying to land that role, we do have access and relationship with technical recruiters and also helpful journey, headhunters, executive search, and so on, and even employer on record for employers that can help with the entire journey. Settlement roadmap, the reverse migration and thriving that leads to also additional journey. All of these available on one holistic platform. We do have partners like Labs by Beacon. And so if you're trying to build your own startup and you're trying to learn to build a startup, the best way to do that is to build a startup yourself. This shows a bit of the landscape. This is not an exhaustive list of visas, not even an exhaustive list of tech visas that are available, but it gives you an idea. Take a screenshot of this slide, and maybe you want to start taking a look at all of these requirements. What should I be preparing myself for? What should I be building my profile towards? All of these are available to you. And as we've said before, the lowest common denominator across this pathway is be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. What that means is different for different people, and that is the reason why this platform Emigrate exists, to be able to help you unpack that for your own specific, unique self. No two people are the same, not even twins, no two are the same, and this is part of what we help with on the Emigrate platform. On the platform today, we are focused on tech-enabled opportunities, Emigrate Tech Visa, although we are working really hard to expose the platform to other industry vertical within the next few months. At the moment, we are focused on the Emigrate Tech Visa, which is technology route. But when we say technology, we are not just talking about the technical side of technology. There's the big side of tech, which is the business side of technology as well. The product managers, the digital marketers, the service managers, all of them will find options, pathways, guidance, coaching, and holding on the Emigrate platform. We focus on pathways towards settlement. However, some of these pathways can be an indirect pathway to settlement. Two of the speakers mentioned it during today's session to say sometimes you may want to be flexible. Your destination may be country C, but maybe you want to move from your own country to country B first, maybe not on a route to permanent settlement or residency, but then because you are in country B, Malta digital nomad visa, for example, it makes it easier for you to get to the country C, which is your path, where you're going and the final destination at that stage of your career. And we also focus on pathways where you can move with family and pathways where you can plan as a beginner. The Emigrate Tech Visa landscape is available to you. We have premium sessions, group coaching session that could be useful for your journey. These are on the premium side. It's not one-to-one, but at the same time, it's not recorded. So you can share information with coaches and the coach can help with your journey. Even if you don't yet qualify, there's something you should be doing. If you're already qualified, there's something you should be doing. If you're somewhere in the middle, there's something you should be doing. If you have moved already on some of these visa pathway, there's something you should be doing. And even if you are settled in this, your dream economy, there's something you should be doing, because being globally attractive is not a destination anymore, particularly in the field of technology. It is a journey. And that journey may be, yes, you're looking at a specific visa at the moment, but then that journey can continue. And that is what the Emigrate platform helps you do. And you can't generally do that without a roadmap. Build a personalized roadmap for yourself. Yes, you can do it yourself by just doing the research and all. But if you need a bit of help building that roadmap for yourself, then you can also approach the platform. You can do it yourself with a subscription, with a little bit of help, or you can do it with me, or you can do it for me, as we mentioned earlier. And this is a lot that is available to you as of today on the Emigrate Tech Visa platform. Our time is fast spent, but we did promise you a gift. And that gift is what I'm going to be sharing at this point in time. So please do pay attention. At the beginning of this session, we did say to you that, oh no, at the beginning of this session, we did say to you that, once again, thank you so much to all the coaches. Thank you. We had assumed you will have dropped off by now, but thank you so much to all the coaches once more. Thank you for staying until this point in time. At the beginning of this session, we did say to you that we do offer a clarity session, a 10-minute short coaching session for each individual in the community at no cost to you as a welcome gift for you being on the Emigrate platform. But this is the gift we have for you because you have stayed on this session till this time, or you have watched the replay video till this time. The gift is that we are able to offer you a second clarity session at no cost to you, which you can use within the next 3 months or so. But you have to redeem that clarity session at this point in time. It will be logged into your Emigrate app, but you can use it anytime within the next 3 months. So you don't have to use it immediately. You can use it when you do need it as you continue your journey towards being globally attractive. We are only able to offer this one per person in terms of this category of clarity session. And so please don't say, oh, I've attended 20 Emigrate Open Days, and so therefore I have 20 of these. No, you still only get one per individual. How you redeem this is by going to any one of the Emigrate communities, and you simply need to say you attended this open day today, or you watched the replay video of this open day, and you watched it till this point, and you've been told that you've won yourself a gift, the extra clarity coaching session, the extra clarity session on the platform. You have to write that on the community. The reason, and it doesn't count if you write it in the DM or you direct message one of the participants or one of the community managers of the community. Just simply write it in the community, because what would happen is your profile in the community is linked to your profile on the Emigrate app, and it would automatically log your extra clarity session. It will automatically log it into your Emigrate app profile, as long as your unique identifier, which is your phone number or your username on the community, is detected. If it's not, the community manager will come to you to make sure that your clarity session is redeemed, and you can use it anytime within the next 3 months. And so congratulations to everyone on this call till this point. We are happy to offer this to you because it would be absolutely useful for your journey towards being globally attractive. We've said a lot over the last, 2.5 hours. A lot of information has been passed. But if you don't take action, it will just be that information. There's something that you need to do today, maybe tomorrow, but today really, to move you closer to your goal. Hopefully, you've figured out a few of those things that you need to do immediately based on the sessions, based on the feedback, based on the answers to questions. It may be additional research. It may be a specific action. It may be updating your CV. It may be whatever it is. We're asking you to take those actions now. Don't be like that member of the community that 1 year later, then they will come and say, oh, what were you talking about 1 year ago? We've seen that on the community, because within that time, you could already be qualified. And for a number of people, you may already even be qualified for this opportunity. You just need to optimize your profile. Wherever you are in that journey, there's a next step that you need to take. And we are inviting you to take that next step. We are here to help. The Emigrate platform is here to help. And we as individual coaches on the platform, we are here to help you as well, because we believe in you. What the Emigrate platform is set up to do is to help you become a globally attractive talent. But it is a participatory journey. There are actions that you have to take. We're happy for you to book the coaching session one-to-one with an Emigrate coach to discuss what your next step will be. In terms of the specific visa opportunities, sponsored visa roles, we have coaches that are able to support your journey to the UK, to the US, to Canada, to France, to Australia, to Germany. And we are building very hard to have many more coaches to help your journey across many forward-thinking economies across the world. And so employer-sponsored visa opportunities, if you need support, Emigrate platform is able to support you. You have to take action though. And your next action could be critical. And if you do nothing with the information, that also could be critical. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for joining us at this edition of Emigrate Open Day. Do please give us feedback. There are 3 ways in which you can do that: on the App Store where you downloaded the app, on Trustpilot, and also on Google Map. Give us feedback. Let us know if we're doing well. Give us feedback in the community. Give us feedback on what you learned today. Did you learn anything today? Was there anything useful? Let us know, because part of the reason why we dedicate our time to doing this, bringing this information to you, is because we get your feedback to say we are doing something well. Yes, we are very proud with over 50 successes that we've done on the Emigrate platform across different visa routes, and those numbers growing very rapidly. Yes, we are proud being able to support people's visa journey, being able to support people's pathway to settlement, but we are also happy to know that, oh, we've been able to help you, even if you didn't engage us on a premium offering or anything like that. The fact that we've been able to contribute to your journey, that also makes us happy because we are adding value. And that's what we would like to know. Give us those feedback. It helps our objective. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for watching the replay video. We will see you in the community. Thank you.